Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Oh boy, I screwed up my whole camera setup once again. Oh boy. Okay. Welcome to Game Over Calgary. My name's Conrad Krausert, and I forget to press the buttons right because I also have the Calgary Wranglers playing on my second screen as they are on into overtime. Thank you to Matt C. for pointing that out. Maybe I'm just putting as much effort in as the Calgary Flames did tonight as they fall massively to the Vegas Golden Knights. It's the complete opposite. I was saying this as you can hear me. The Calgary Flames in 2025-2026 are the complete opposite of what we saw last year with the Flames missing by just one. And holy, Ivan Prosvetov just made a absolute game-saving stop as they are currently in overtime against the Tucson Roadrunners. But last year, the Flames were in every single game and putting in their absolute best effort. And this year, I can't see anyone out there putting in any effort. From the top to the bottom, it's been pretty abysmal. When I think Adam Klapka is the best player on the ice for the Calgary Flames, you know things have gone pretty poorly. To say the least, I think. And yeah, I guess Team Tank's probably elated today, and by that market, I probably should be, because I've been very pro-tanking since as early as the first 2 weeks of last year. But it's one thing if you are a competitive team. I'm going to say this lots this year, Flames fans, so get used to it. It's one thing if you are a close competitive team. Look at some of those San Jose games last year. They were fun because they were in it. And, of course, they also provided that with having Macklin Celebrini. But there are lots of bad teams that are exciting. The Flames are a bad team that can't even imagine that or manage that. It's so frustrating, and I don't think I'm really making anybody all that surprised with me saying that. But we'll do our standard format. We will start with the initial Mitch Marner goal, his first as a Vegas Golden Knight. Assist to Ivan Barbashev. Gets flipped in down behind the goal, and as we all know, it's the first 45 seconds. What does Kevin Ball do in the first 45 seconds of the game? Does he make the smart play of hard and off the boards to not allow one of the most offensively gifted teams a certified high danger chance? Or does he put it back behind the goal, no look to his defense partner? I can tell you it wasn't option number one, as he puts it back to Mackenzie Weegar. Mackenzie Weegar makes his hockey gloves look like oven mitts, can't handle the puck, gets it jumped up on back of the net. Barbashev with the pressure gets it back out front to Mitch Marner, and Mitch gets his first as a Vegas Golden Knight 45 seconds into the game, and that's when I knew the Flames were in trouble. Did I then have some optimism? Did I yell loud enough that my housemate had to come check on me if I had gotten hurt? When Jonathan Huberdeau scores his power play marker, his first goal in his first game back, yes, I did. Am I a foolish Flames fan, knowing that these Flames teams can't score more than 2 goals, as David W. pointed out in chat? Yeah, probably. Good work there by the top power play unit. Kadri, I don't know how, he's felt super invisible. Puts home his 4th assist there as Huberdeau whacked it off the ice, and the phantom 2nd assist goes to Mackenzie Weegar. Sure, but that joy was short-lived as Tomas Hertl scores on the power play. Thank you, Tomas Hertl, one of my fantasy draft picks, who I consider not dressing today just to kind of change the juju for the Flames. But Mark Stone just accurately passes it back through the pairing of Kevin Ball and Joel Hanley. And as soon as I saw that we didn't have Rasmus Andersson, which meant we'd have to play probably close to a minute and a half of Joel Hanley, who couldn't get to that pass, neither could the long stick of Kevin Ball, I knew it was going to be a long night. Joel Hanley still yet to gather a point on the season, by the way, and I believe is now -7 on the year. Great roster construction. And then adding into the trend of Vegas Golden Knights scoring their first of the year, Captain Mark Stone gets a beauty of a pass from Jack Eichel. I'm certainly glad the Flames decided they know better than a surgeon on what operation he should get, and he's not a Calgary Flame. Stone taps it home. Vegas is up 3-0 before the end of the first. Of course, Calgary actually led in shots in the first, but ended up trailing 3-1. They led in the shot clock 13-9. Second period, the Vegas Golden Knights continued to heap on the chances. Ivan Barbashev gets his 2nd of the year off of just absolutely dominating control of the offensive zone. And it was still the combination of Rasmus Andersson and Kevin Ball during this point in time, but Kevin Ball can't use his massive frame to move Barbashev out from in front of the net. Gets the tip. Flames are down 4-1. And then it would be Mitch Marner yet again. Assists to Stone and Eichel as he just burns Kevin Ball, and nifty move, and Mitchy Mitts scores another one. Rough day for Kevin Ball today. And then the third period comes. You saw the end of the night for Dustin Wolf. Wolf ended up giving up 5 goals on just 19 shots. A little bit rough for the Flames star netminder. Then we go to the third. And takes 2 minutes and 30 seconds for Mark Stone to get his 2nd of the year. Let's just give out first and second goals today. How about that? Assist to Hertl and Eichel. Power play goal. And guess who? Joel Hanley gets absolutely worked by Hertl on the goal line. Can't get the pass to Stone. That would be all she wrote for the Flames, as Cooley only allows 1 goal, despite the fact he did also face 9 shots. Final stats in this one: shots on goal for the Flames, 27. The Vegas Knights, 28. Flames actually pretty decent in the face-off dot, all things considered. It's a 49-51% face-off dot differential. But the Vegas Golden Knights go 3 for 3 on the power play. Flames managed to go 1 for 3. Yeah, 3 for 3, that's 100%. There might be some time needed. Not that the Flames have a lot of practice time this season due to the condensed schedule. That's another bonus of the Olympics, I guess, for this club. Flames out-hit the Knights. The Knights block a ton of shots, gave the puck away more than the Flames, but also took the puck away more. So Vegas now holds a 2-0 series lead over the Calgary Flames for the season. Going through the box scores just to bring out a couple numbers. Matt Coronado, -2. Only guys that were even tonight were the fourth line of Adam Klapka, Connor Zary, and Ryan Lomberg. Actually, Joel Farabee also on that 0 on the scoreboard. Did have a little bit of a scare late in the game as Connor Zary took a Adam Klapka shot off the bridge of the nose. On the back end, Kevin Ball -2, Mackenzie Weegar -2, Joel Hanley -1, and Rasmus -1. Prek and Jake Bean, obviously not super sheltered were super sheltered in the first 20 minutes, or first 40 minutes rather. I'm speaking faster than my brain can catch up. Less sheltered in the final 20, but managed to come out with goose eggs, and Jake Bean was the least offensive of the defensemen today. And I mean offensive as in bad, not in the offensive zone. Gonna grab a sip of water here, folks, before we continue. But if you looked over Calgary Flames social media today, I think you started to see that the Flames fandom's ready for the rebuild. And I think the play of the team on the ice is certainly alluding to that needing to be a reality quicker than maybe management and ownership came to think. Because usually when a team starts, like the Flames have, unable to produce offensively, there is one answer, and that is you fire the coach. The coach that you just issued a 2-year extension to, as Doogie mentioned in chat. Doogie, shout out to Doogie. Doogie does some very impressive work in the LGBTQIA2S sports sphere. We might have him on a little bit later this season. Just shout out to the Pride and Puck podcast if that is sounding like something that you may want to watch. Just had an episode come out in September with Lexi Shea, a member from Spokane, Washington, talking about queer hockey throughout the globe. But yeah, let's head on to period number 2 and talk about how the team's play on the ice may have forced ownership and management and leadership to finally accept the point that we need to tear this down to the studs. This isn't just a retool. This needs to be a full-blown... You have 2 guys that are untouchable in Zane Parekh and Dustin Wolf, and everything else is window dressing. If Colorado comes a knocking, despite the fact that they have nothing in the prospect or draft pick cupboard, I think Craig Conrad needs to go down to Nas and say, hey, you willing to waive that no trade still? Yeah, that's Matt C. with a good point. Nazem Kadri, who I just mentioned, top point scorer with 4 assists. That's what you want from Nazem Kadri, right? 4 assists. That's the same as Mark Stone had in the game tonight. But is this run of play enough to convince Cesek and Craig Conroy that what I and Matt have discussed for the last year is finally true? That last year was a farce and that the coin shouldn't be shoved in the middle. In fact, we should just be biding our time, paying our ante until Gavin McKenna might be on this roster. That we need to get rid of Rasmus Andersons as soon as we can so that his numbers don't diminish to the point where no one wants to pick him up. I think so. I think it is finally time to face the music that this is not a well-constructed hockey team. And I think if I had Craig Conroy in this room, he would say as much. The fact that the Flames have managed 10 goals in 6 games is absolutely repugnant. For the skill that apparently this team has. For the release that I'll always gush about for Matt Coronado. For the promise that Connor Zary showed for the last 2 years, getting himself on a contract extension. For him now to be playing bottom 6 minutes more often than not. And then I see some people that are trusted hockey people in this community saying the Flames are one top forward away from being a competitive roster. I don't think any sane Flames fan actually believes that. Unless that top prospect is Gavin McKenna, and then we've admitted that we're going to be fully rebuilding. So we might as well continue trying to be bad. Not for the decade of darkness, a la Oilers, but maybe start to think about Landon Dupont. I don't think you want to veer too far down that road if you continue. But I don't know. Because I'm starting to really question what this organization has done in regards to asset management. Did keeping Dan Vladar for the 6 months really bring us anything other than a little bit more copium and a little bit more belief in the way things are being run? Should that have turned into draft picks instead of letting him walk for free in the offseason? Should the Flames have played the shorter wait-and-see game with guys like Connor Zary, seen if maybe a prove-it contract would have been a bit more appropriate? Because I can tell you, the way Connor Zary has played to start this year, I don't think he gets the contract that he just signed. I don't think Igor Sharangovich gets anywhere near the contract that he's signed. Holy, has he been invisible. And we all know, we're Flames fans. We may be blindly following this squad. And for some of us, it might not be so blindly for much longer. But we all know Murray Edwards doesn't like paying 2 coaches, let alone a coach he just extended. And as I said it when we started this season, when we started the preseason, we're rewarding mediocrity. Like, guys, 2 seasons with admittedly a AHL transitional roster at best. We've created not much. We flew too close to the sun, and now the wings are melting off, and the Flames are plummeting back down to mediocrity. The Icarus comparisons will continue until morale improves. And I heard myself and everyone else say, oh, the Flames are bad, but we aren't Sabres bad. Hey, the Sabres have scored more goals than the Calgary Flames have. And if my math is correct, I think even the New York Rangers, who had games where they couldn't score at home at all, have scored more goals than the Calgary Flames. And instead of moving on from a guy like Daniil Maramanov, I'm going to beat this drum to death too. Letting Ilya Slovyov walk into waivers and get claimed. You're a 24-year-old who showed incredibly well in preseason and who has put together a solid string of NHL games when he's been given the opportunity. That's not somebody you want on your squad? Sure. It's so hard to believe in the direction of this team. Because you don't know where that rudder's pointed. None of us do. Hey, I'd even argue that probably the owners of CSEC don't. It's just frustrating because I remember listening to Kay and Andrew talk about how fun their team was Were they bad fun at times? Yeah. But it was fun bad. It was, we're going to score 1,000,000 goals, but they're going to score 1,000,001, but we're still going to have something to look forward to. What we as Flames fans have to look forward to is a controlled entry of Zane Parek's career. Oh, we're going to limit his numbers. We're going to wait and see. We're going to shelter him. Cool. Okay. What else? If we're going to lose 60 games a season, what else do we have? Because I remember, I grew up a Flames fan. I've lived in this city for 32 years. Well, with the exception of 2 years up in Edmonton. So 30 years. I grew up becoming a Flames fan through the Young Guns era, where I came to games because I wanted to see Valeri Bure skate up and down the ice, to go cheer for Freddie. And I guess we're back to that. Cheering for Dustin Wolf and going to see Zane Parekh go play his power play 2 minutes. The ownership management pushed way too hard for a dream that didn't come true. And now we're crashing down to reality, waking up to find out that the golden egg was just a layer of spray paint. But it wasn't all bad, I say, trying to give us a little bit of hope and dreams. Here is we head on to period number 3. Let me just grab a sip of water. As we did finally start to see, in my mind, the right defensive pairings in that third period. We saw Kevin Ball get placed along Zane Parek's wing more often than we have. So as I said, that's the right pairing. And hey, while we have Rasmus Andersson still as a Calgary Flame, maybe we staple him to Jake Bean or whatever AHL first pairing defenseman we decide to go with for the near future. Whether that's the Flames finally deciding the Danil Miramanov experiment is over and sending him down and bringing someone up with potential like Hunter Brustevich. Maybe that's the hope we have to have. And speaking of which, the Calgary Wranglers did fall in overtime, taking them to an 0-2-0-0 record. Games both falling in overtime. Hunter Brustevich has a goal to push this game back closer. Matvei Gridin also had a goal. I know someone was trying to look up the stats to how many Flames have scored in their first AHL game and first NHL game. But, yeah. Doogie coming in chat with my whole Solovyov rant, saying Solovyov played 50 minutes today for a cup-contending Avs team, and we had him on waivers. As I said, we needed Solo in the rookie, and Matvei Gridin started the year here, and Solovyov may win a Stanley Cup ring with it, with Colorado. So are we finally starting to see maybe the Flames seeing the right pairings on the D end? Yes. But boy, oh boy, is the let's play 40 minutes with our regular lines and then have 20 minutes of our lines going in a blender starting to get old real quickly. Because there's no chemistry on this team as we are right now. Everything we thought we had built in the preseason has faded to dust. And I understand there's no real turnaround time this season to shift things around with practice, especially with the Flames travel schedule. But it's We have to find something. Quoting Mike Gould, Farabee, Frost, Sharangovich, Zeri, and Coleman are earning a combined $24 million between this year. They're all completely underperforming. On one hand, some of them are overpaid. Igor's deal, in particular, is looking awful. But no, it's not just one player who's struggling, it's even worse. I think Mike Gould hits it right on the head there, no matter how much people don't like Mike. I like Mike. But it's not just one guy. Because I know there were periods in time last year where we looked at this roster and you could point finger at one player underperforming, whether that was Connor Zary between his 2 knee injuries. I know a lot of people thought he was underperforming. At periods in time, it's been Matt Coronado. But it's not just one guy. Is it time for the Band-Aid to be ripped off? To say to Michael Backlund, you and Frida, you're doing great. We love you. We appreciate you. You're going to play 12 minutes a night, limited shifts that aren't special teams. Oh, and hey, I understand we've had you on power play 2 forever and ever, amen. But that's for players who are going to try and score us goals. Blake Coleman, you've led this team in goal scoring or nearly led this team in goal scoring 2 years ago. But your game has declined to the point where we're just going to stick you down with Michael Backlund. Listen, Nas, 4 points, 4 assists, not good enough. Have all these defensive zone starts. You're going to be playing with Connor Zary and Igor Sharangovich, and you're going to play 20 minutes. Or not even 20 minutes. 17. And then see what Farabee, Frost, Zary can do when they're thrust into the limelight. Of course, I don't think you can take Huberdeau down the lineup right now. He's played 1 game, has had 1 goal, and looked distinctly okay, to quote Peter Klein. But it's tough. Because even in that game against Edmonton, I don't think the Flames looked like they completely gave up like they have over the last 3. And I understand the broadcasters, they're Flames broadcasters. They need to try and make these Calgary Flames look and sound as good as they can. But Ryan Leslie can't keep pumping not Hunter Brustevich. We should be pumping Hunter Brustevich. He can't keep saying that this jumbling of 7th defenseman is good. As I said, Jake Beam, sure, you were zeros across the board. You can be a 6th defenseman in the NHL. But for guys like Joel Hanley to keep being given opportunity after opportunity and doing absolutely less than nothing with it. For us to be carrying 8 defensemen and only swapping 1 guy in and out of our roster a night. When Kevin Ball is your best of the extended players, but he was a -2 today. It's just awful. It's just awful. And we're going to have to send someone else young down when Martin Pospisil gets healthy. Forgot about that little nugget. So it's tough to be a Flames fan right now because there is not a lot to be positive about. Unless you're my dad, and I'm not going to read my dad's text today because I don't actually think he texted me today. I think he knew how I felt, and hey, he was off celebrating a Calgary Stampeders win that he got to go witness with my mom, so good for them. But it's just becoming apparent that it is going to be a painful year for Calgary Flames fans. And unless something changes quickly, could be a historically bad run. Reminder, the highest the Flames have picked in their history is 6th overall. Lucking into Matthew Tkachuk. And the other guy they selected at 98 or at 6th in 1998 was Rico Fata. So I'm going to turn the attention to you in chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. Doogie, thank you so much for tuning in out of Oz. I'm sorry that you had to spend your Saturday, or it would have been Sunday morning, watching this team. But my question to you Flames fans is, you're Craig Conroy. How do you sell a guy like... How do you sell player X on your team? I'll let you choose the player. How are you selling that player to another team? I'll give you an example. If I'm Craig Conroy right now, I'm going to any team that feels they need grit and saying, Blake Coleman, he's got 20% of the Calgary Flames goals so far this season. He's got a long and storied history of being one of the best third-line players in hockey. Don't look at his age. Don't look at anything how he's been doing this season. Look at the nostalgia of Blake Coleman. Whether that's taking him down to Tampa Bay and saying, hey, you want to do something more than fight Florida? Be known for something else this season? Take Blake Coleman back. I'll take anybody talking about anyone that isn't Dustin Wolf, because we all know that trade's not in reality. Or number 2, we're not going to trade Zane Parekh. So if you have anyone that you think you know how Craig Conroy needs to pitch, throw it in chat. Be the Calgary Flames GM for a second. I'll read it out. I'll even give you another one. Hey, there's this guy who was second on the team, Calgary Flames last year, Joel Hanley. He was he was plus 11. That's pretty good, right? That's more than plus 10. It's 11 goals he was on the ice for. More than he was on the ice for scoring against. Look at that number. Plus minus, not a flawed stat at all. You want this guy to go play on your second pair. Oh, you've got an injury? Oh, you need somebody who doesn't cost you a whole lot. Joel Hanley, that's your guy. Ignore his stats this year. They don't exist. He's not a -7 on the year with 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points in 6 games played. Just go back in time with me. I'm Craig Conroy. We're back in the Hot Tub Time Machine. Plus 11. Anybody in chat got anyone? Going once. Going twice. All right, chat. Insert player had one good season and got a big contract from him. They have never done anything since, but maybe they will with your club. Didn't give me a name for that one, Matt. But yeah. You know what? Here, I'll throw a player whose name in there. Nazem Kadri. He has a Stanley Cup ring. He's waived his no trade clause just to come to your team. He can win faceoffs. He can get under the opponent's skin. He can bring his baldness and his cute young daughter to your team. David, can't think of too many untouchables on this Flames roster with the most 2 goals per game scored. It's regular season, the bar versus the Oilers. Maybe a trade of Sharangovich, Zari, or Klapka is good. Who wants to take on Adam Klapka with his extension? The answer is nobody. Who wants to take on Igor Sharangovich extension? That is also the same answer. Connor Zary is the only 3 out of those guys who I think has any trade potential. But with that being said, since everyone in chat is probably ready to go to bed and forget this and go enjoy their Sunday, I think I'm going to do the same. I'll get the podcast uploaded tomorrow. Give you a little bit of a breakdown of who will be hosting over the next few days. It'll be me again on Monday when the Jets come to town. And then we are going to we're going to bring back the crossover. It'll be me and Kay from Game Over Montreal doing a bit of a crossover. It's going to be on both channels. So we'll have our chat, they'll have theirs, and we'll equalization payment between the two. Then it's me again for the Jets on the 24th. And then it will be Anand hosting alone when the Rangers come to town. Hopefully, the Flames will themselves to a victory as they return home on Monday to take on the Winnipeg Jets. Thank you so much for being in chat, being involved. Nice active chat today. I really appreciate that. For friends like KQ, Tokay, Matt C, David W, who are always here. Thank you so much. For the newcomers, like a guy like Robert, I don't recall you being around before. And Doogie, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again when the Flames try to rebound on Monday.